people are owed reparations. Reparations now. All my Johnsons. Wolfpack. Big K.
Ayo, wait, hold up, pause, no debate, no applause. Tired of the wait, man, we need a revolution, but you came to debate. We be down for the cause. I be laid on a sauce, keep us down for the cause. Fuck up, round, get a public execution. Better wise up, hold up, fuck it, pause. Pause like 10 Black, overwhelmed, but I gotta get my wits jack. We be preaching to the quiet like a hymn track, but we gotta make a dent, get the rich back. Laying in the street, we got brothers that overdosing, trying to help the poor with their handicap and emotion. Both parties suck, take a minute and let it soak in. They don't give a fuck, they be locking you up for smoking. Both parties suck. Johnson, what they serving up is a lace concoction. Spit it in a face. Johnson, what the fuck you do with a snake when you boxing? Wanna fall in line with the face is an option. I'ma stand for mine, I'ma ride with my conscience. If you want the right, I'd advise you with caution. When they get the chance, sell you out like an auction. Fucked ins like controlled opposition. Cunts on the boat and they roll their position. Top down, yeah, I'm sold on the mission. I ain't bring a coast, I'm a search of friction. Politicians figure these raps give me conniptions. They be out here serving their donuts like a religion. Calling out these blasphemous promises my addiction. They ain't got no soul, yeah, they sold it out for a pension. Wait, hold up, pause, no debate, no applause. Tired of the wait, man, we need a revolution, but you came to debate. We be down for the cause. I be laid on a sauce, keep us down for the cause. Fuck up, round, get a public execution. Better wise up, hold up, fuck it, pause. Ayo, time. Fuck conservative, run on McDonald. Clean, but you look and you sound like you off at the bottle. White boy dress for the follow. You can see through the grip, so you need to let off of the throttle. Try the right, we beside, let us have us a top. Be a man, we can walk through the basics. You ain't getting shot, just talking about race. Motherfucker, you get shot for being racist. Yo, say you spitting facts, you clearly be in your feelings. Quoting Ben Shapiro, what else the fuck you consider? See, we didn't free the slaves, and you acting like we the same. Like resigning effects, same thing, you fucking idiot. Right-wing frauds really made me belligerent. Educate America, overcoming the ignorance. Big homie black, show you bitches the difference. They also jobs and blaming it on the immigrants. Bro for initiative, hold the line with the wolf pack. Giving me a shot, I blew through him like I'm a fullback. Riding from inside the center, the way your soul at. Pin strength flats, cause homie be full of bullcrap. ACAB, yeah, I'm bending the law. Yeah, the system is broke, if you need this and nause, need divine intervention. Need a fix by the gods, hold up, I'ma need to catch my breath. Pause. Wait, hold up, pause, no debate, no applause. Tired of the wait, man, we need a revolution, but you came to debate. We be down for the cause. I be laid on a sauce, keep us down for the cause. Fuck up, round, get a public execution. Better wise up, hold up, fuck it, pause.
Y'all gonna have to ride with me on this, man. I'm trying to tell you. Man. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Y'all gonna have to ride with me on this one, man. Ride with a brother. Ride with me on this. What's up, people? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to Pause with Tim Black. Welcome back. Your dreams are your ticket out. Welcome back. Let me make sure we live, man. I don't want to go too far. What's up, people? How y'all doing? What up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? Give it up. There we go. I know it's late, but it's a lot of work, man. I had to come correct. This is important. What up, YouTube? What's up, Twitch? How y'all feeling? Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening. Yes. Oh, man. Oh, man, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. Wow. Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. There we go. Twitch, Facebook, YouTube in the house. My people. My friends. My friends. My pals. My people, my people, my people. Yeah, everybody doesn't get that designation. That everyone is your friend, that everyone can relate to you, that everyone understands you. But to those that understand Tim Black, to those who understand what we do on this show, to those of you who relate to what we do, who understand Black culture, what it's about, give it up for yourselves for being here. Welcome to the Black Podcast, Tim Black's Black Podcast, where we tell the truth and shame the devil, Johnson. And we do this every time we come out. Because we ain't looking for no jobs, Johnson. We ain't trying to impress nobody, Johnson. It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is, Johnson. So, with that in mind, remember, I support the Black agenda and reparations. And remember, the motto is still the same. Cut the check. Now, I got, wow, so much going on. So much going on. Let me give it up to my moderators. My moderators in the house. What's up, moderators? Oh, D. D, what's up, D? What's going on, Keith? What's happening? Oh, we gotta make some modifications. Yeah, we do. Moderator modifications. Lord have mercy, Johnson. So check this out, guys. I've been hard on this one, right? I've been hard on this one. What's up, Nat? What's going on, Nat A? What's happening, Strawberry Quick? You're gonna like this. Tonight's show, we're gonna take a deep dive into Ketanji Jackson Brown. We're gonna take a nice long look at Ketanji Jackson Brown. We're gonna take our time. We're gonna slow it down a bit. And we're gonna go where people don't go. And actually, I don't know how far people go. I know how far mainstream media goes. I don't count them. You can't count them. You know, it's like, look, going to mainstream media and wanting to get the real details, wanting a deep dive on what's happening, it's like going to fast food, like going to McDonald's and wanting a 3-course meal. Going to, Taco Bell and looking for a Michelin star level dinner. You just ain't gonna get it, Johnson. It's not gonna happen. You're in the wrong place, Johnson. That's not what they do. That's not what it's, no. That's not what it's for. You're in the wrong restaurant. Whose fault is it? If you go to Burger King, Carl Jr.'s, whatever's in your area, looking for a well-done steak, a perfectly temperatured, well-cooked steak, right? Medium, succulent, right? Or whatever you're into. Like, steak comes to mind for me, but, you go to the wrong place because Carl Jr. don't have steak. And it's just not curry filet mignon. You're not going to get no caramelized. Look, caramelized Brussels sprouts. Oh, I'm trying to tell you, stir-fried. Bruh. First time I had them, I had to go learn the recipe. I'm one of those people. I don't care if it's pho or caramelized stir-fried Brussels sprouts. If I eat it and it's good, I want to learn how to cook it because I can't be coming back to you. I can't afford to come back to see you. I can't do it, guys. Like, I can only afford to eat out every once in a while, so when I do, I take notes. Then I go home and learn how to do it myself. That's what we do. Plus, I know it's clean when I cook it, because I wash my hands, I wash my hands. I wash the materials. Ain't nobody dropping the chicken on the floor, just throwing it in the grease going, ah. You know what I'm saying? That been sitting in a weight tray. So anyway, guys, look, this is not, what am I doing, Tim Black? Tim Black, why are you going on and on about this? Well, some of us need to go back to basics. Yeah, some of us have it all messed up. Yeah, you need to get your ass roasted, Oh, shit, roasted. This is what black people do when they make fun and make jokes. It's like running the dozens or joning. This is another term us black folks use. It's when with our friends, we make fun. We say things, we joke around. It's black culture, Johnson. That's what that is. That's how I got in trouble, I last year, I said, I'm going to roast that ass. I'm going to roast that. I'm going to get rid of that ass. We're going to roast. We're going to put the Vaseline and go to work. We're going to go to work. Yeah, because in the black community, that's what, it's a running joke that black people put Vaseline on their faces so they don't get cut when they fight. And we're going to get that ass is like a fighting term. But the whites don't know that. So they said I was making grape threats. I see we still got them type of people hanging around. We still got them type of people hanging around, Johnson. Yeah, we do. We still got them. Another thing I realized is that we still have people. Look, if you're a David Pac-Man fan and a Tim Black fan, just stay a David Pac-Man fan. Real talk, like, come on now. Come on now. I'm just saying, like, we got nothing in common. Don't try to get your bona fides on black issues and then go jump into neoliberal land. Don't go jump into vote blue anywho land and then come back over here and try to act like you down. Come on now, don't do that shit. Don't do it. Don't do it, Johnson. Come on now. Black folks, we don't know who the hell I'm talking about. Don't pretend that you are down. It's like, don't pretend that you're a black authority, you know what I'm saying? And then go like be all up in, Candace Owens. I don't know about Candace Owens, not Candace Owens. Because sometimes she ride hard for what she believes. Who's milquetoast? Yeah, you can't say that you down with, Tariq Nasheed and then go, but I really like Don Lemon, Like that's the extreme, You can't do both. No wonder why we disagree. No wonder why we disagree. You are listening to Don Lemon. You listen to MSNBC Lights, and then you come over here to me, and you thinking, oh, no. So I'm just warning you. We're keeping a buck over here. So we're gonna offend a lot of people tonight. That's my job, to offend people. To wake people out of their slumber. That's my job, that's what I do. I piss people off, I kick ass, I take names, I write them down, I erase them, I do all that. We're going to talk about what's going on in Ukraine. We're going to do some updates on that. We're going to talk about the racist nature of the Western media and how it exposes itself during this Ukraine situation, the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. Because, folks, as horrible as war is, right? As horrible as all of this is, it gives me an opportunity. It gives me an opportunity in real time to expose some things to people that they don't normally would be able to see. Yeah, because usually when you're talking about stuff, you're talking about it theoretically, abstractly. They got to imagine it. I want you to be able to see it. Yeah, see, and nothing works like an ass whooping. Like, if you can't be physically in it, it's hard to be described what it is. It's like love. Who can tell you what love is? But if you've ever had it, if you've ever felt it, you know what it is. Can't really put it into words. Well, a lot of times we talk about racism and bigotry and discrimination. They're up to the eye of the beholder. Well, this conflict has given me an opportunity to present it to you. Well, you can't deny it. And it's an opportunity. You got to take the good with the bad, and out of the bad, you got to find some good. Got to get something out of it. So I want to start with Ketanji, because Ketanji, I don't know. Let's start with Judge Jackson Brown. How about that? Judge Jackson Brown. Now, the first thing I want to do is say, we all know that Joe Biden, he promised that he would nominate a black woman for the Supreme Court. We all know that Joe Biden said he would nominate a black woman for the Supreme Court, and he has upheld his promise of nominating a black woman for the Supreme Court. And for that, a lot of people are very excited. And I understand why you would be excited, because it's never happened before. It's unprecedented. So the first thing I want to do is I want to be a human being about this shit, and I want to say, and particularly to black women, I feel you. I feel you. See, one of the things I noticed is that whenever we do these like breakdowns, we start picking through, we're not always very reasonable in understanding to the people that are emotionally connected. There are people that are emotionally connected to this opportunity. Whether you want to believe it or not, there are women that feel that they get extremely discriminated against. And this gives them an opportunity to see something happen that they weren't sure was ever going to happen. And though I say, in this society, blackness, race trumps everything else, I do not want to appreciate the relevancy of a black woman on the Supreme Court. So this is a monumental moment for women, for black women who for those black women that feel this as a signifying moment, you don't want to take that away from people. Let's not act like we don't understand what people may feel. There are people so connected to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, they made her the most special thing since sliced bread, because they were connected to her because of what she represented. And I think it's horribly insensitive not to recognize that. And since my job is not only to hit a word hurts, not only tell the unbridled, untarnished truth, my job is also to win over some converts, to convert some people. So if all I do is throw raw meat at my base and rile people up and make you hate somebody, and all I do is offend the hell out of you, well, there's no room for you to grow. There's no room for you to want to say, hey, I learned something, and then change your mind. Because pissed off people rarely change their mind, Johnson. They dig their heels in. That's what they do, Johnson. That makes sense. So we're taking our time with it. We're gonna walk through. We're not gonna act like we're in such a rush that we can't acknowledge that this is a monumental moment for black women. I also want to recognize that this will be a monumental moment for women in general, because for the first time, there will be 4 women on the Supreme Court at the same time. So give it up for that. There are women who feel separate from the racial issue. There are women who feel that women are underrepresented in America, underrepresented in politics, don't have the political power that they should have. They vote more than men, but they don't hold as many seats. This is America. We can say the same things. We can say both things exist. We can say racism exists, classism exists, and so does sexism. We do not have to shy away from that. And even though this is a black-oriented show where you put out a lot of black shit, and I say all my black shit, there is no reason why I can't acknowledge that women in general are going to feel a certain kind of way about an opportunity to have 4 women on the bench. To miss that opportunity in your commentary, or for me to miss it, forget what you do, for me to miss the opportunity to express that because I'm so fast to run down the hill and want to point out flaws, would be not doing my due diligence. And also, I want to do some more conversions. You feel me? All right. Whew. I also would like to point out that Miss Ketanji, Judge Brown Jackson, her parents went to HBCUs. Yeah, her parents went to historically black colleges. Not rich people, okay? Rich people don't go to HBCUs. They go to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and what have you. Now, she did go to those schools, but her parents didn't. And that's because it did not have that type of paper, Johnson. Okay? All right. So that's where we are. Those are some background points I want to make. I will come back to more background later that I also think is very relevant. Let's go to all the work she's done in the private sector. Okay, so we know, I think she's a Harvard graduate as well. 2 degrees, not just one. The jurist has 2 degrees from Harvard, which she attended as an undergraduate and as a law student. She once served as editor of the Harvard Law Review. Come on, now, that sounds like Obama, Johnson. That's Obama right there, boy. That's what that is. Yeah. It was good enough to be president. That was what? Obama was Law Review. We kept hearing that all the place. Oh, Law Review, Law Review. I don't even know what the Harvard Law Review does. But I know I was impressed back in 2007, like, what that brother did what? What that brother do? He did what? Okay. All right. Sounds good. We might get one, Johnson. We might get one. Yeah, so that's impressive. And if you are not digging through the weeds, if you are not sifting through, there may be enough for you to ride off and be very happy, sing hallelujah, take your girls out to lunch or brunch. They're about to lift all the mask mandates. Hey, it's time to party. Celebrate. Far too long, our government, Our court hasn't looked like America, Mr. Biden says on Friday when he announced his pick. I believe it's time that we have a court that reflects the full talent and greatness of our nation. Come on now, Joe Biden. Talking that talk. There he is. She was born in Washington, D.C., but she grew up mostly in Miami. At her 2021 confirmation to the appellate court, she credited a background in public service with her decision to work as a public defender. That's right. She didn't just defend corporations, she defended poor people. Public defenders are poor people. Those are people that can't afford their own lawyer. Because Lord knows if you got money, you're going to get you a real lawyer. You don't get a public defender because public defenders are overworked, they don't have time, and some of them are not as committed to your survival or your justice as you are. So, if you can afford one, you go get one. But if you don't have one, we will provide one for you. It's like getting that sandwich. You ever went to school and you ain't had no lunch money? And they gave you that choke sandwich from the back. They gave you that peanut butter sandwich with no jelly, with the hard bread. That's a public defender. Now, I don't want to knock it, because when your stomach is grumbling, you need something. But come on now, keep it a buck. But they have that listed here for Miss Jackson. And she did that for 2 years. 2 years she was a public defender. She's 51 years old, and for 2 years, she worked as a public defender. I talked about her parents. One was a teacher. Both her parents graduated. Oh, they both were teachers, I'm sorry. Her brother was a police officer who also served in the military. She also clerked for Justice Breyer during the Supreme Court's 1999 to 2000 term. So she worked for the judge that she's replacing. And that's something, Johnson. And that's something. Go ahead, man. President Barack Obama nominated Ms. Jackson to serve as a district court judge in Washington, D.C. So Obama appointed her in 2012. During her 8 years spent on the district court, she wrote about 500 opinions. Among them, she ruled that Donald F. McGahn, the former White House counsel to President Donald Trump, had to testify in the Russian meddling probe. All shucks. So a lot of people are focusing on that. Say, hey, man, she went against Trump to Trump. She went against a Trump lawyer. But hey, still, she was willing to challenge powers, right? So, okay. So now it's where it gets a little murky. Ms. Jackson, a liberal justice, has a family connection to Paul Ryan, former House Speaker and ex-Republican vice presidential candidate, Paul Ryan. You remember Paul Ryan, don't you? Yeah. Obstructionist Paul Ryan. Yeah. That Paul Ryan. While her nomination, she has 2 children. She's married. Her husband is a surgeon. A white surgeon. Hey, I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. Shouldn't matter, Tim. I know it shouldn't matter. But come on now. Everything matters. This is America. Race matters. Ain't that right, Cornel West? You don't think it matters, but you love Cornel West, and I don't know where you're coming from, Johnson, because that was the first book I read of Dr. Cornel West was his book, Race Matters. It matters so much, he made it the title. But you go ahead and live in your fantasy world. That makes you feel better, boo-boo. While the nomination has been widely praised by Democrats, 2 South Carolina Republicans, Lindsey Graham, fuck him, and Tim Scott, go to hell, Tim Scott, criticized the president for choosing Ms. Jackson over Michelle Childs, a judge from their home state. They say Judge Child was on Biden's short list. Well, better to be on a short list than a short bus. But they said Miss Jackson, Brown Jackson, was considered the favorite. And she was in the lead, and she never relinquished that lead. She's already been confirmed by the Senate twice. Oh, once, I'm sorry. When the president nominated her to appellate court judgeship, although her judicial record will be scrutinized in the days ahead. It is liberal, but not extreme. Her credentials, Ivy League Law School, a clerkship with retiring Supreme Court Justice Breyer, which I already mentioned. And Clyburn really likes her. Yeah, Clyburn, you say, but Miss Childs was the more unconventional pick. Clyburn had his own favorite, South Carolina Judge Michelle Childs, who Tim Scott wanted as well. But he said Miss Childs was a more unconventional pick, without Miss Jackson's rarefied academic pedigree. Says picking her may have been politically helpful for Mr. Biden, but that's not how this president works. Okay. So I don't know, but I don't know what that means exactly, but that's what he says. Okay. So we got a little background. We have to take an opportunity to understand who this person is. So as we form our opinion about, is this a good pick, we must know what we're forming our opinion based on. We shouldn't just form it on the fact that she's picked by Joe Biden. We shouldn't just form it on the fact that she's a black woman. We need to form it based on what she's done, what she's proven her positions to be. So as I was doing this background check, I saw that there was a judge who gave some pushback to Judge Jackson Brown. Oh, I'm sorry, Brown Jackson. I keep putting the two last names in the wrong place. Alabama's first black federal judge, U.W. Clement. He sent a letter to Joe Biden advising him against appointing Ketanji Brown to the U.S. Supreme Court. Yeah. Now, why would he do something like that? Why would he go on the record and say, this is not the one? Don't pick her. Let's not act like this is regular. We got the first black first black federal judge in Alabama standing up and saying, pick a sister, don't pick this sister. Now we can act like that don't mean anything, like that's small potatoes. Or we can consider what his points are. Now this is what I found out. And somebody in my comment section on Friday told me about this, because I didn't know about it on Friday. But I've had the weekend, Johnson. So there was a class action lawsuit at Lockheed Martin. And it was a total of like 5,500 people that could be included in this class action lawsuit. And there was a settlement amount that was up for her to consider. These black workers were claiming discrimination, that they were discriminated while they worked at Lockheed Martin. The amount in the settlement was $22 million. Clement said it would have implemented reforms in Lockheed's evaluation system for pay and promotions. So it was not just the money aspect, but it was also the changes Lockheed would have to agree to, which were more consequential than the money. This is what Mr. Clement wrote in his letter. He said, as you consider the candidates for your legacy appointment to the highest court of the land, it's entirely appropriate for you to take into account not simply what each aspirant has done for her own career, but equally so, what she has done for the cause of justice and equality. Based on their conduct in Ross v. Lockheed, I strongly believe that Circuit Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson should not be appointed by you as the first black female justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. So wow, once again, this should be paused. We should slow down. We should take a look at this. This is not somebody willy-nilly just throwing out, disparaging remarks about a black woman going to the, getting appointed. This is another black first saying there's a red flag. And I want you to consider that red flag. Because remember, there was a list of 9 black women being considered. All the women that made that, that were up for consideration were black. So what I'm saying is this judge, federal judge, Mr. Clement, Judge Clement had a reason. Here's what the reason is based on. Clement served as counsel at the firm Meary and Skated, which represented the plaintiffs in the Ross versus Lockheed case. So he was on the other side of Miss Jackson. Miss Brown Jackson, okay? That's where he was. He was part of the lawsuit that was brought against Lockheed Martin. He represented plaintiffs. Jackson is the circuit court judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia from 2013 to 2021. She was the district judge on the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. So as we know, Joe Biden decided to do this, but let's get into why. To find out what the reasons were surrounding. So, okay, first of all, for some people that was enough. There were some people who read this much, found out this much about Judge Jackson. I'm just going to go with one name. Some people found out this about Miss Jackson, Judge Jackson, that was enough for them. Oh, until black, you're withholding information. You're not going, you don't want to disperse, you don't want to tell the truth about this woman. You don't want to keep it real. I'm like, dog, give me a chance to do research. I cover a lot of stories. Let me peel back the onion. But that was enough for them to throw it, no, forget it. It's over. It's a wrap. She did not stick beside these black folks against Lockheed Martin. She turned down their lawsuit, their settlement. Sellout. She must be a sellout. Let's go. They were very, very quick to come to that conclusion. I'm not going to say I'm going to hold it against them because I understand how that looks. How does that look, guys? Come on, Wolfpack. How does it look when you the black judge, we bring our case before you about discrimination from the major Fortune 100 company? It's race discrimination against Lockheed Martin, who gets all these government contracts, and you stand between us or them and this lawsuit. That looks horrible. We are tired of black people stabbing black people in the back for white corporations. Aren't we? So I get it totally, and I don't hold anybody at fault for this. It is our job as journalists, or our job as commentators, or our job as analysts to go the extra mile, to find out what's going on behind it, and then give you the information and see if that cements your opinion or if it changes it. So let's get into that. Oh, I told you we're going to take our time. I'm not just going to come up here and say a bunch of curse words, throw out a couple jokes that land and don't land, and call it a day. No, I'm not going to change my voice up and act high, get all dramatical, as if I'm telling you some new shit. And then say that's a good day. Let's have a good day. And say go hit the pay cap or the pay app, the cash app. Hit the cash app, like I just did something. Now we're just getting started, Johnson. I'm gonna do all that, but I'm gonna do it after I finish doing my job. Okay. Here's where we get to the nitty-gritty. Just like you, I'm concerned. What the hell's going on? Why did she make that choice? Now, this is from an independent. I went to a source outside of the United States. Because when I looked at MSNBC or CNN, oh my God, it was very hard to find a critical person at all. Hell, it was hard to find an unbiased person. Hell, it was hard to find anybody bring up any type of information that was not congratulatory. Everything I was seeing from the MSNBC light and the MSNBC crowd was applause. It was applause. It basically was victory laps. Everything was supportive. Nothing was speculative or diving into her background. Nobody held up a magnifying glass to, her background. So I went to the independentco.uk out of the UK. I looked at the BBC records, and this is what I found. Okay. Out of 40 employment and business-related rulings reviewed by the Associated Press, Jackson ruled for the defendants 30 times since 2013. This is while serving as judge on the U.S. District Court in Washington. Many of the cases involve discrimination. Claims that employees had filed against government agencies, and they hinged largely on interpretations of arcane provisions of employment laws. In one of her private sector cases, Jackson ruled that a Lyft ride-sharing driver had agreed to the company terms of service when she signed up with the company, and therefore had to pursue arbitration to settle a dispute, rather than a class action lawsuit. The driver had claimed that she and others were Lyft employees who were protected by the law in the District of Columbia that entitled them to paid sick leave. So, evidently, when you're a Lyft driver, you sign paperwork that you don't know what it means. But in fact, it effectively says you cannot sue, or you have to allow any disputes with the company to be handled through an arbitrator. You can't all pile together and go file a class action lawsuit. At least that's how it was interpreted by Judge Jackson. In the view of Ruger, Jackson tends to sorry about that. In one representative case from 2017, 2 black employees from Lockheed Martin alleged racial discrimination in their company performance appraisals. The employees asked Jackson to certify a class action lawsuit against the defense contractor on behalf of themselves and roughly 5,500 salaried black employees. Jackson declined in her ruling, which relied heavily on a 2011 Supreme Court decision that rejected the class action against Walmart. So, she agreed with the earlier decision, where Walmart was in a similar position, and Walmart was able to avoid class action lawsuit. Jackson found that Ross and Josie had failed to explain how the company's performance appraisal system discriminated against black workers. She concluded that they also failed to prove that the performance appraisal system discriminated against black workers in the same way, a standard that will be required in a class action lawsuit. So in a class action lawsuit, you have to be able to prove, apparently, that everybody's problem, everyone's discrimination is the same. We were all discriminated in the same way. It's symptomatic of a deeper problem of discrimination. And we all have the same symptoms because we all have the same bug. When you work with Lockheed Martin, that bug is you black. I happen to know there is a lot of discrimination at Lockheed Martin. And let's just say I know some for personal experience. Okay, so this is what she wrote. Ms. Jackson wrote this. She said, Two anecdotes in the class of over 5,500 almost certainly do not constitute a substantial proof that any commonalities between them are pervasive throughout the class. So, to her, they had met the burden of proof that this was similar enough that everyone had the same claim. Now, this is where it gets interesting. It says the ruling wasn't exactly a victory for Lockheed Martin, though. It sounds like a victory, though, doesn't it? Listen here. Jackson questioned the adequacy of the company's proposed $22 million, saying that was the settlement fund, saying it was unclear exactly what claims other employees might bring against the company. The judge also noted the class members who didn't respond to the settlement notice, not just those who opted out, would be ineligible to receive compensation from the fund. So, was she doing this to help black workers who were discriminated against? Or was she doing so to help the corporation? This settlement agreement, Jackson wrote, effectively allows Lockheed to inoculate itself against any and all race discrimination and race-related benefits claims by a huge swath of its African-American employees for a price that hardly seems adequate. That's what she wrote at the time. The two employees that were listed in the class action lawsuit, who brought the class action lawsuit, they reached a settlement with Lockheed Martin for an undisclosed amount of money. I don't know how much money they settled for, but they settled. Here's the thing. I have no way of knowing if, in the long run, this helped Lockheed more than it helped those two employees. Was there ever a class action lawsuit brought that held Lockheed Martin accountable for racial discrimination against its employees? And if you want to ask, does Lockheed Martin racially discriminate? It's pretty well known, if you're in the tech field, that you can go to pretty much any major corporation, and that'll be the case. No, seriously. I spent my whole entire professional life before this working for government agencies in the D.C. area as a contractor. It's pretty well known that every one of these defense contractors, all of these government contractors, all of them discriminate. That's like it's water wet. But can you prove it? Can you prove it? And can you prove it is systemic enough where it's like systemic where it's cookie cutter for all employees. And that's what a class action lawsuit, that's the purpose of a class action lawsuit. If not, what you may still have a lawsuit, but it may not be a class action lawsuit. Class action lawsuits, faulty brakes on the car causes an accident. If you had an accident because of the brakes on that 2014 Honda Accord, then you're part of this lawsuit because you met the criteria. Those are the criteria of that lawsuit. But the lawsuit can't be, did you crash your car? Because there may or may not be brakes. Did your car malfunction? Did the engine blow? You got a problem with the car that's not specific enough to fall within the class action lawsuit. I hope that makes sense. So these two employees, yes, they did end up getting their money. I don't know how much money, but I do think it was less than $22 million. How can you say you work for an employer, you didn't get raises, and you should be compensated $11 million apiece? So anyway. But also, let's keep it real. If you Lockheed Martin, and you are discriminated against 5,500 people, what's $22 million So see, this is why we got to have this conversation, because Lockheed Martin, $22 million ain't nothing to Lockheed Martin. We're talking about Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin don't get out of bed for $22 million. Lockheed Martin won't change its own tires on the F-35 for $22 million. $22 million ain't enough for them to, they wipe their nose with $22 million. We're talking about Lockheed Martin, okay? So I agree that if this is a valid lawsuit, $22 million is a horrible lowball fee. That's thrift store prices. And I shopped at a thrift store when I was a kid. But if we're talking about making a Fortune 100 company pay for damages that is discriminated against 5,500 black employees, we need to charge them, or they need to be settled for a lot more than $22 million. We should talk about, I don't know, $2 billion. Yeah, let's get the numbers up. So here's the thing, depending on how you look at this. There are some people that feel like, oh, she's okay. I like her because she did not go with the employees. That's how some Republicans look at it. I was looking at one Republican, Levy. I don't know who he is. But he felt that since she, it could be a good sign that perhaps she's not an ideologue in general. So some Republicans feel that's good she didn't side that way. Then there are others who feel like, well, maybe it's good she didn't side that way because it wouldn't have helped. But in most cases, she does side with the employees. In most cases, she does side with employees and with unions, as she did with Donald Trump. Here we go. In her first opinion as a federal appeals court judge, a position to which Jackson was confirmed last year, she ruled against President Donald Trump in a case praised by labor unions. In a victory for the unions, Jackson ruled that the decision to override 35 years of precedent was arbitrary and capricious. She also questioned whether the change would solve the problems the agency had claimed it was trying to fix. So, I don't know. That's where we are. I'm sorry. It's not going to give you a definitive yes, no, up, down ruling. But here's the thing, and I hope people understand this. She's a part of the system. Yeah, she's a part of the system, Johnson. Judge Brown, if she was going to ride for black people, she would not be where she is. I don't care what you say in the back of your mind, what you think. If she's going to ride all out for black people, she would not be where she is. She is not an activist. She's a judge. Just like these people are not activists, they are politicians. We get the two mixed up. So anybody who thinks, oh, God, we got a black woman and she's going to do this, she's going to do that, no. Hell no, she's not. Is it possible that she could wear these things in a different way than a white woman may do, or a different way that a black man may do, or a different way that as a white man may do? Yes, that's possible. That's possible. But shouldn't you be jumping up and down going, oh, we got a black woman now, that means she's going to make some changes? No, that would be stupid. You don't get, look guys, we got to stop. You don't get to become CEO or part of the board unless you are of the type of person that they want to pick to be on the board. You don't maverick your way into working for somebody else's company. And in this case, the United States government is a company. The United States government is a company. Supreme Court is a company. It's a body. Look at it the same way. If you don't get appointed to it, you don't get nominated to it, let alone appointed to it, without being a part of the system. Nobody elects Mavericks and Rebels. Nobody chooses Mavericks and Rebels to be their judges. You may win a local judgeship, right? But you're not going to be chosen by a president if you're a Maverick. You're too risky. So I think it's unreasonable to think that. And I'm not going to let anybody lie to themselves. I mean, you can lie to yourself if you want, but I'm not going to lie to you for you. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear if that's what you want to hear. I'm also not going to dump on her viciously because, all in all, I think she's about as good as you're going to get. And all in all, I don't expect her to do anything out of the ordinary, basically speaking, other than be basically sort of liberal at times. That's what the track record will show. Not a civil rights attorney. Okay? Just because she's serving 2 years as a public defender doesn't mean she's a civil rights activist as they're trying to bail her out. And it doesn't mean I don't want her to get nominated. I mean, well, appointed. Get what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, I think some people's idea of what she's going to do totally out of whack. Unrealistic. Leads you to have hurt feelings. Also leads you to be set up to be used. It's not like we got a choice in this at all anyway. Do I think we could have did better? I don't know what she's up against. I don't know the other options. But I think you could have done worse. Yes. I believe you could do worse. You could do worse than someone who served as a public defender, whose parents went to an HBCU, whose family members, I read somewhere that a close member of the family was, went to jail for life because of possession of weed. 3 strikes law. I don't think that's something that Ruth Gator Ginsburg or Breyer ever had to experience. Will she bring that knowledge and that live experience to her job and apply it? I don't know. There are all types of people come from all types of beginnings, which you wouldn't even be able to tell because they're so busy running from that thing, you would never know that they were ever connected to that thing. So that's not enough, is it? It's not enough to just say I had hard times. Some people who had hard times become the biggest sellouts. Right? Because they try to get away from the hard times. They never want to go back to the hard times. And they don't want their kids to go back to the hard times. So they make hard decisions. To make their lives easier and make our lives harder. I'm not saying that's the case with this lady. I have no way to know that. This judge could turn out being great. But more than likely, she'll turn out just being okay. And how she turns out really will come down to what you have in your head that you think she should be. Just like when I talk to people about Obama. I say, hey, what about Obama? Why did he do this? Why did he do that? They go, oh, what could he do? Because they have in their head about what an expectation they should have for Obama. And for some of those people, just the fact that he was elected is enough. And the fact that he got reelected was enough. They got caught up in symbolism. And I can't knock him but so much because the first term, I was caught up with it too. But we all live and learn, right? All right. So that was a long way for me to say something. Long, long way for me to get around to it. But at the end of the day, Johnson, I want to get my hopes up high. And I don't care what anybody else says. It's a learning moment. It really is. Let's move on, Johnson. Let's move on. We got more. So, I'm going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to do the Ukraine because that's on my docket, Johnson. Hang tight. I'll be back in 2 minutes. People are owed reparations. Reparations now. All my Johnsons. Wolfpack. Big K.
Ayo, wait, hold up, pause, no debate, no applause. Tired of the wait, man, we need a revolution, but you came to debate. We be down for the cause. I be laid on a sauce, keep us down for the cause. Fuck up, round, get a public execution. Better wise up, hold up, fuck it, pause. Pause like 10 black, overwhelmed, but I gotta get my wits jacked. We be preaching to the quiet like a hymn track, but we gotta make a dent, get the rich back. Laying in the street, we got brothers that overdosing, trying to help the poor with their handicap and emotion. Both parties suck, take a minute and let it soak in. They don't give a fuck, they be locking you up for smoking. Both parties suck, Johnson, what the serving up, it's a lace concoction. Spit it in a face, Johnson, what the fuck you do with a snake when you boxing? Wanna fall in line with the face is an option. I'ma stand for mine, I'ma ride with my conscience. If you want the right, I'd advise you with caution. When they get the chance, sell you out like an auction. Fucked in, like control opposition. Cunts on the boat and they roll their position. Top down, yeah, I'm sold on the mission. I ain't bringing coast, I'm searching for friction. Politicians faking these raps give me conniptions. They be out here serving their donuts like a religion. Calling out these blasphemous promises my addiction. They ain't got no soul, yeah, they sold it out for a patient. Wait, hold up, pause, no debate, no applause. Tired of the wait, man, we need a revolution, but you came to debate. We be down for the cause. I be laid on a sauce, keep us down for the cause. Fuck up, round, get a public execution. Better wise up, hold up, fuck it, pause. Ayo, time. Fuck conservative, run on McDonald. Clean, but you look and you sound like you off at the bottle. White boy dress for the follow. You can see through the grip, so you need to let off for the throttle. Try the right, we beside let us have us a top. Be a man, we can walk through the basics. You ain't getting shot, just talking about race. Motherfucker, you get shot for being racist. Yo, say you spitting facts, you clearly be in your feelings. Quoting Ben Shapiro, what else the fuck you conceal? See, we didn't free the slaves and you acting like we the same. Like we're signing effects, same thing, you fucking idiot. Right-wing frauds really made me belligerent. Educate America, overcoming the ignorance. Big homie black, show you bitches the difference. They outsource the jobs and blaming it on the immigrants. Bro for initiative, hold the line with the wolf pack. Giving me a shot, I blew through him like I'm a fullback. Riding from inside the center, where your soul at. Can't distract flies, cause homie be full of bullcrap. ACAB, yeah, I'm bending the law. Yeah, the system is broke. If you need this and ours, need divine intervention. Need it fixed by the gods. Hold up, I'ma need to catch my breath. Pause. Wait, hold up, pause. No debate, no applause. Tired of the wait, man, we need a revolution, but you came to debate. We be down for the cause. I be laid on a sauce, keep us down for the cause. Fuck up, round, get a public execution. Better wise up, hold up, fuck it, pause.
Welcome back. Testing 1, 2, 3. We back. There we go. All right, we're in the house, Johnson. Why does it look blurry? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just me. Good enough. Had to move. Okay, we're back. Okay, Johnson, welcome back to the show. Thank you for your patience. Some things cannot be avoided. Let's get into this, okay? To my people that stuck around, thank you for sticking around. So, we've been having a conversation about Ukraine. We've been having a conversation about Russia. And at no time, Johnson, did I tell you who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. I do not feel like that's my job. First of all, I don't feel comfortable making a choice like that. Second of all, the information's too sketchy. But what I can tell you is, when I look around and see everybody applying for one side, I always wonder, what am I not being told? That's just me being black so long and watching black people get railroaded that my spidey senses start tingling. I recognize that when something looks too lopsided, there's always something more to it, okay? So that's just my opinion on it. But does that mean that somebody should be invaded? No. Does that mean that I think that people should have missiles dropped on their homes or they should be shot? No. Doesn't mean that at all. So that does not mean I support war, no matter who it's against or who it's for, no matter who benefits or who loses. Am I clear there? Because for some reason, I don't know if I'm clear. I don't support invasions. But see, what I'm very consistent in is that point. I don't support invasions, whether it's the U.S. invading someone or another country invading someone. Get it? Well, also, Johnson, what I think we should also recognize, there's some people that support invasions no matter who's doing it. They support Russia invading, and they support the United States invading other countries. Then there's some people who are total hypocrites who support United States invasions but don't support Russian invasions. And I'm like, see, now we're playing this home football. Now it's all about what team you're on. You support human rights in one area, but not so in the other. So that's where I have a problem. Over the last couple of days, I also had an opportunity, y'all, to take a look and see that there's a lot of contradictions in the House. One of the contradictions that I see, I actually saw some Ukrainian folks being interviewed. Yeah, Ukrainian folks being interviewed by reporters, and they're able to tell their story about how hard life is, how dangerous it is, and how they had their property destroyed, or how they barely got away with their lives, or people that have been hurt and shot. And I thought to myself, wow, I've never seen this. I've never seen us care about people that were invaded before. I've never seen, literally, I've never seen us ever care. I never heard an Afghani person giving their tale about being invaded by us or other coalition forces. I never heard an Iraqi giving his story in Iraq while being invaded by us and other coalition forces. I never heard anyone give the mic to a Yemeni person as the Saudi Arabia was raining bullets down on them and they were able to tell their story. I never heard these things. It's a novel idea. It's a new idea. I think it should be done more often. My thing is, why is it only being done now? Now, I already know why. I already know why now suddenly we care about the people that are being invaded. Because it's not us doing the invading. That's part of it anyway. The other part of it is, well, the people that are being invaded are white. Yeah, that's going to hurt a lot of feelings, isn't it? It shouldn't. You don't decide what these countries do, but you still feel a reason to stick up for them. Some people do. You don't control the actions of Biden or how America has leaned on Ukraine or what's been offered to Ukraine or whether the negotiations between Ukraine and the United States or the United States and Russia, or you're not responsible for that. So why would you feel the need to defend it? I mean, you can see it for what it is. It's factual. It's not my opinion. We never gave a damn about the invaded people before. But now we do. Suddenly we do. I wonder why. I got some answers, Johnson.
Like 15,000 people were coming into Poland in just the last 24 hours. When you look at what happened in the last refugee crisis in Europe back in 2015, Poland was one of the EU countries that, was hesitant to take in refugees. Talk about what has changed and the different position now.
Yeah, well, just to put it bluntly, these are not refugees from Syria. These are refugees from neighboring Ukraine. And that, quite frankly, is part of it. These are Christians, they're white, they're very similar to people, people who live in Poland.
15,000 people.
Me, I'm sorry, it's very emotional for me because I see European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed, children being killed every day with Putin's missiles and his helicopters and his rockets.
And so, of course, I understand and respect the emotion.
S'il y a un afflux de ne serait-ce que quelques centaines de milliers de réfugiés qui viennent d'Ukraine et qui vont dans d'autres pays européens, comment est-ce qu'on les accueille? On sait que l'Allemagne, par exemple, a déjà envisagé d'aider la Pologne parce que ça va être une question importante. Et on parle pas là de Syriens qui fuient.
Population. And as you're talking to us, Matthew, we're playing in the latest pictures of some of the refugees trying to get on trains or trying to get out of Ukraine. And what's compelling is just looking at them, the way they're dressed. These are prosperous, I'm loath to use the expression, these are prosperous middle-class people. These are not obviously refugees trying to get away from areas in the Middle East that are still in a big state of war. These are not people trying to get away from areas in North Africa. They look like any European family that you would live next door to.
Fuck off.
Population.
Now the unthinkable has happened to them. And this is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
It's Robert Moore here in the studio.
Now the unthinkable has happened to them. And this is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
There's this running statement that I hear on Twitter all the time. It's when you say the quiet parts out loud. That's what they're doing, Johnson. They're saying the quiet parts out loud. They're saying what's in their head because they're emotional. Because they care about those fellow white people that they see. One of the reporters just blatantly said it. These people look like me. Pardon me if I'm emotional, but these people look like me. White, blue-eyed Christians. White, blue-eyed people. Very, very honest. I want to applaud their honesty. Yeah, at least they're honest. My biggest barrier here in America, because I've do this show for a decade now, is trying to make people be honest with themselves. Let alone be honest with others. Yeah, I don't like what they were saying to me. Obviously, it's racist as fuck. But at least they're real. Tell you exactly how they feel. What's different about this? Nothing. We see it all the time. Basically, this would not be a fucking story if it weren't for the fact that these are white people. We're so used to seeing this. We see this all the time in African countries and Middle Eastern countries. But see it in a white country, oh my God. One of them even said, we're not used to seeing this in civilized countries. An invasion, Johnson. To invade is uncivilized, right? But that's not uncivilized when white people do it. Even when they do it to themselves. It's like, what? The biggest hurdle that I face when we do this show, as we uncover issues like this, is getting people to admit realities. And if we could just admit realities, if we could just admit, man, if I could just have a Blue Lives Matter person admit what these reporters are admitting, that it's a difference when you see a white person laid out on the ground. It's not me using the shit that you put on me to say that I'm less than human as your clarification, as your excuse for allowing it to happen to me. Stop using your stereotypes of me that you use in order to use me to commodify me, to monetize my labor, to subject me and my people. Stop using those stereotypes that you put on me as a justification for all the evil shit that you do or that your government has done. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. If we could just admit like these reporters are admitting. Because I heard all day I've been seeing people post these clips, and I haven't really seen this take, which is how great it is that we got this footage, how amazing it is that these reporters are being honest. They're not shoving smoke up our asses and telling us, it's something different. This is, they're being honest and saying this is different. And why is it different? Because these are white people. And it's strange to see white people running. We're used to the brown people running. We're used to the blacks running. But now we have white people running. It was frustrating. But now I'm not going to read their comments. Of the people that don't understand how race plays a role in this, they don't get it, that's fine. My job is to point the information out there. You don't have to get it. You don't have to admit that it's 1:28 in the morning here in the East Coast, but it is 1:28 in the East Coast. You don't have to admit that. You can tell me it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Does not matter. I know what time I gave you, and I know it was the right time. It's up to you to accept it. So, another one of the issues that have been rising is, well, there are a lot of African students in the area, in Ukraine, for instance, who are trying to get out because they're not Ukrainians. They're not going to fight a war for you. This is not their country, and they're not there to fight. They went there to go to school. And just like a lot of other Ukrainians, they're trying to leave, but they're having a little bit of a problem. They're black.
Now the unthinkable has happened to them. And this is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
Go. They're pushing her. They're not letting her go. They're not letting her go. Is it right? Is it right? They're not letting the black girl go. 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 The black girl go. They're pushing her. They're not letting her go. They're not letting her go. Is it right? Black girl go. They're pushing.
What happened yesterday here in Lviv?
Well, we tried to get into the train to get to a border, like to a European country, probably Poland, or in fact the countries that open borders for people going out, running from the war. but they were prioritizing, I won't say white, let's say other people to Africans, to black-skinned people. I don't know why, but it just happened. And we've been out for like 3 days, 5 days waiting for means of transport to go out, but it's still the same thing happening.
We don't have arms. We don't have arms. We don't have arms. We don't have arms. We are students. No arms. We are students. We don't have arms. We are students. We are students. Pablo, we are students. We are dying. We are dying of cold. We are dying of cold. We are dying of cold. Everybody go down. Everybody go down. We are dying of cold. We've been here for 3 days. We died of cold. 3 days. This is unfair. This is unfair. Why point gun as foreigners? Why point gun as us? Why point gun on us? You have to find the rest of your mind. Please go live on Instagram. We don't have arms. We don't have arms. We are students. We are students. Gun on us. What the fuck is happening? What? We don't run. We don't have arms. We got nothing. We don't have arms. We have nothing. We are students. 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 What's up? We are students. We are students. You don't understand, but you're not black, so you cannot solve. Dude, they can't shoot us off. Thank you. Thank you.
So the Polish government was pushing back, saying it's not true. Poland condemns fake news that's turning away non-white people fleeing Ukraine. Now, one of the clips that we saw just now were black folks, or African folks, I should say, African folks, students, having a problem getting out of Ukraine. They were trying to get on trains. I've seen video of African students trying to get out of Ukraine and having a problem being prioritized to get on the train so they can't leave Ukraine. Then we have also video of Africans reported, you heard people report that they've been stuck for 3 days trying to cross over into Poland. So, according to this report, large numbers have entered Poland. We're talking about 200,000 people have fled. That was just since Thursday. Many have struggled to cross with reports of queues stretching kilometers on the Ukrainian side of the border. Among those are some third country nationals living in Ukraine, including students from Africa. It's important to note it's not just Africans having problems leaving. There's also some Arabs. I think they were labeled as Indians, who are also having a problem getting into like Poland, for instance. One video, which is the one I just showed you, has been watched over 2 million times on Twitter, shows a group of African students in a confrontation with officials who appear to be refusing to let them pass. Some descriptions attached to the video suggest they are Polish officers, though in fact they say those are Ukrainians. These are Ukrainians who won't let them leave the country. Meanwhile, even the Nigerian president's spokesman has said it's been the Polish guards and Polish soldiers who won't let them into Poland. So I'm getting discrepancies on this, okay? They said that it was Ukrainian soldiers rather than Polish border guards turning them away. Photographs on the Polish side of the border show that a number of people of color have crossed from Ukraine. So now we're counting the blacks that have been able to pass. Either way, as I stated in the beginning, guys, one of the things that I have in this Johnson's, one of these things, Johnson, is I hope that people take this opportunity to take a long, strong look at America and look at the world. And to accept what they see. Detach themselves from it and accept what you see. Without making excuses. Look at it for what it is. Realize that this is the world. And this is the way the world conducts itself. These are the way it operates. And it's not personal to you, but it'd be a good idea to accept reality. Because while you deny reality, while you deny it, others live it. When you got a bunch of reporters admitting the truth, makes you wonder why we can't get that in America. I mean, at least we could do is be honest. Be honest about the coverage. Be honest about what's expected, what's accepted. That's it. Be honest about what's accepted as normal. And that acceptance as normal is what allows it to happen. Because all the time people ask me, why is this happening in the black community? Why does that happen? It's normalized. And the powers that be allow it to happen and sometimes facilitate it to happen, just like anything else. Does that mean I support Putin? No, it doesn't. Does that mean I have no feelings for people being bombed? No, I have feelings for people being bombed. That's why I tried to talk to you about the Tulsa race riots. That's what they call it. I call it a massacre. That's why I wanted to talk to you about the church bombings. You know, that's why I talk about these issues. And now we kind of see why, or if history teaches us anything, it's why it's not a big deal. Our reporters just said it. Those reporters around the globe just told you. All those Western reporters all over Europe and the UK, it shows you why. Yeah, this is not strange to a lot of you. A lot of people watching, you know this stuff already, like Tim told us something we don't know. But remember, I don't just do the show for people that know. I do the show for those that need to know. I do the shows for people that deny it as well. So everything can't be, for those who already know. It's good to know to a further extent. But some people need to know that when you got a Supreme Court justice, a U.S. Supreme Court justice nominee, that you cannot expect a radical freedom fighter. Because radical freedom fighters don't get to the level to be nominated as U.S. Supreme Court justices. Right? I'm not saying we shouldn't hope for that. I'm just saying that's what it is. But like so many things in this country, you and I don't get a choice, Johnson, do we? Nope. Well, that's all I got. As always, don't let nobody take your cornbread. Remember, tomorrow is phone line day. People call into the show. We had those conversations. I want to I want to say thank you to all those people that shared this show, that tuned into this show, that know what our goal is here, that are in tune with it, and we work together to make that happen. All right. I'm Tim Black, Real Tim Black on Facebook and Twitter, Tim Black and that on Instagram. Shout out to Bone Ivers, William McGregor. Oh, God. Whew. William McGregor says he thinks Bernie's behind Ketanji Brown. Wow. I don't know. James Clyburn is pissed about the selection. I'd love to hear what Tim Clyburn has to say about it. You heard it, Johnson. And Bone Ivers is in the house. Wow. All right, guys, that's it. I'm gone. I'll see you on the next one. Remember, cut the check, Johnson. Cut the check. People owe reparations. Reparations now. All my Johnsons. Wolfpack. Big K.
Ayo, wait, hold up, pause, no debate, no applause. Tired of the wait, man, we need a revolution, but you came to debate. We be down for the cause. I be late on a sauce, keep us down for the cause. Fuck up, round, get a public execution. Better wise up, hold up, fuck it, pause. Pause like Tim Black, overwhelmed, but I gotta get my wits jacked. We be preaching to the choir like a hymn track, but we gotta make a dent, get the rich back. Laying in the street, we got brothers that overdosing, trying to help the poor with their handicap and emotion. Both parties suck, take a minute and let it soak in. They don't give a fuck, they be locking you up for smoking. Both parties suck. Johnson, what the serving up is a lace concoction. Spit it in a face. Johnson, what the fuck you do with a snake when you boxing? Wanna fall in line with the base is an option. I'ma stand for mine, I'ma ride with my conscience. If you wanna ride, I'd advise you with caution. When they get the chance, sell you out like an auction. Fucked ins like controlled opposition. Cunts on the boat and they roll their position. Top down, yeah, I'm sold on the mission. I ain't bringing coast, I'm searching for friction. Apologists faking these raps give me conniptions. They be out here serving their donuts like a religion. Calling out these blasphemous promises my addiction. They ain't got no soul, yeah, they sold it out for a patient. Wait, hold up, pause, no debate, no applause. Tired of the wait, man, we need a revolution, but you came to debate. We be down for the cause. I be late on a sauce, keep us down for the cause. Fuck up, round, get a public execution. Better wise up, hold up, fuck it, pause. Ayo, time. Fuck conservative, run on McDonald. Clean, but you look and you sound like you off at the bottle. White boy dress for the follow. You can see through the grip, so you need to let off of the throttle. Try the right, we beside that it's half as a top. Be a man, we can walk through the basics. You ain't getting shot, just talking about race. Motherfucker, you get shot for being racist. Yo, say you spitting facts, you clearly be in your feelings. Quoting Ben Shapiro, what else the fuck you conceal? See, we didn't free the slaves, and you acting like we the same. Like we're signing effects, same thing, you fucking idiot. Right-wing frauds really made me belligerent. Educate America, overcoming the ignorance. Big homie black, show you bitches the difference. They outsource the jobs and blaming it on the immigrants. Roll for initiative, hold the line with the wolf pack. Giving me a shot, I blew through him like I'm a fullback. Riding from inside the senator, where your soul at. Can't distract flies, cause homie be full of bullcrap. ACAB, yeah, I'm bending the law. Your system is broke, if you need this and ours, need divine intervention. Need it fixed by the gods, hold up, I'ma need to catch my breath. Pause. Wait, hold up, pause, no debate, no applause. Tired of the wait, man, we need a revolution, but you came to debate. We be down for the cause. I be late on a sauce, keep us down for the cause. Fuck up, round, get a public execution. Better wise up, hold up, fuck it, pause.
Wolfpack.